You'd think that after 14 years of living in New Zealand, nothing would surprise us anymore. We'd know everything there is to know about living in this country. But we were wrong. The show started and all the actors there doing the stuff and everyone's really quiet. Anyway, bring, bring, phone starts ringing. Bring, bring, and you're like, oh, you know, everyone goes like this. Oh, is that mine? Oh, no. She picks up the phone and she goes, hello? In this week's show, we're going to share with you 5 things that took us by surprise in New Zealand that we weren't expecting and you wouldn't be expecting too. So let's jump on in and find out what they are. It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to It's a Drama Show. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are back to talk about things we did not expect in New Zealand. If you're new to the channel, we're Liz and Brian, husband and wife, and we have lived in New Zealand for almost 15 years now, and we love to just come onto YouTube and talk about moving to New Zealand, life in New Zealand, travel, stuff.
Just everything.
Everything, really. So we are so happy to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. And we just thought we'd talk about 5 things as the end of the year just reflect.
Will number 3 shock you though, Liz?
5 things that we've just thought, you know what, I really didn't expect that about New Zealand. And we just think it's only fair to share those with you, don't we, Brian?
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to jump on it. What's wrong?
No, nothing. I was just going to say, let's roll on with the show, Liz. But you looked at me and there we go.
Let's roll on with the show, Brian.
Yeah.
So the things that you might not be expecting when you come to New Zealand, and these aren't your usual, like, oh, the weather and oh, it's so green. It's just like, this is the proper stuff.
No snakes, no
This
bugs.
is the proper stuff, right? Number 1 thing.
Yeah.
And this is like quite a personal thing for me, really. I'm just going to hog the show for a minute. But number 1 thing that you don't expect when you come to New Zealand is the Kiwi men. Okay? When you're about to move to New Zealand, take
There
this
are
from
some here.
Here's one. Take this from us, or certainly from me. When you move to New Zealand, you do all your research and like, oh, what's the lifestyle like? What are the people like? That's a big thing because that's what you're going to be spending your life with, aren't you?
It is.
And the Kiwi men have got a bit of a
Bruce and Sheila type thing.
Yeah, they
it's
have
like
fine.
If you've ever seen any Australian movies and stuff like that, at the outback and things like they're all men. They all work out in the fields and the shepherds and well, maybe not shepherds, but whatever they do. But they tend to be a little bit hard as, don't they?
Go with shepherds. I like shepherds.
Shepherds, yeah. There you go.
Kiwi men have got a reputation. I was going to point then. They're pointing at you. Kiwi men have got a reputation for being all blokes, like real blokes.
Big rugby players.
We play rugby. We
Work
do
on a building
sports.
site.
Yeah, we go to barbecues and we stand with the other guys, and the women just talk with themselves.
There are a lot of them.
Hang on, no, Brian, this is not what we expected.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Now then, you're going to have to take this from me and know that this is the truth that I'm telling you, right? Since we started this YouTube channel, which was what? 2.5 years ago?
Whatever it was, 3 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it looks longer than you had the YouTube channel, but we never used it. Yeah.
We've had lots of people watching, and some of those people, 70% of those people are Kiwi guys. And we get lots of comments and lots of correspondence. And over the years, I personally, because I do all the comments and stuff, have got to know these Kiwi men. And some of them even email me on my newsletter. They're part of my newsletter and we have correspondence through email. Now, I'm here to tell you that the majority of those guys that watch this channel and that reach out to us on comments and things like that, they are just the most warmest, I don't want to say softest because I don't know if that will be an insult, but softest, just in touch with their emotions.
Yeah, softest is a funny thing. I would just say genuinely warm.
Yeah. The opposite of what we were expecting, or certainly what I was expecting. I'll be really honest with you here. When we were coming over, I think I've told you this before, but when we were coming over, I was scared, because we've got a very close relationship, me and you.
Yes.
Haven't we?
We have. That's why we do this.
Yeah. But you're like, you're soft, aren't you, Brian? You like to be with the women.
Yes.
And like to hang out.
Yeah. I don't need the tough shell.
No,
That's
but
Yeah, but it is that. Yeah, I mean, sometimes in certain jobs you have to have a bit of a tough shell, and that's what I think a lot of Kiwi guys, some of them are. They have this tough shell, But they're really genuinely nice
Oh.
people. Down at heart. But it's like they give off this air of like, don't mess with me, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
That sort of thing.
That's
like,
a good accent, right?
It was a bit Australian.
Yeah,
though,
it was a
wasn't
bit
Yeah,
Australian.
bit Aussie.
But yeah, just here to say, if you're moving to New Zealand and you're thinking, oh, me and my husband like to go everywhere together. We've got a really good,
Hold
I don't
hands.
want him to be like one of the Kiwi blokes. The Kiwi guys, the ones that we have got on this channel and the ones that I know are flipping lovely.
Yeah.
Just really, really kind, really, really gentle, just everything, the opposite of what you think.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And if you're watching this, you know who you are, who I'm talking about. I just want to say, you've changed my way of thinking. Yeah, perspective
of that Kiwi guy. That you imagine. That stereotypical sort of.
And it's good, isn't it?
She'll be right, mate.
Yeah.
That's that sort of one.
It's good when you've convinced otherwise, isn't it?
Yeah, but
when you've
it's taken
proved wrong
time
kind of
because,
thing.
like, you imagine, were they just having a funny day where they sent me something? But it's like it's again
no.
and again and again,
Yeah.
doesn't it? Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, wow, it's so heartwarming to see.
Yeah,
It really is.
yeah.
It's great.
So there you go. There's
good on
number
ya.
one. There's number
Yeah.
one. Thank you, Kiwi guys. You are flipping lovely. You are just, you make my heart really, really feel warm inside because, you're absolutely lovely. So that's number one.
Yes.
Okay, and you're a Kiwi guy as well, Brian.
I am now a Kiwi. I have
Yeah.
a black passport now.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes, with a fern on it.
Right, number two. What have I written there? What does that say? Number
Let
two.
Brian talk. No.
Don't start that. Don't start that.
Well, you said, what does it say? And I just said, well, that's what it
Do you
says.
know what?
What?
I should never have said what I said about letting Brian talk because I tell you what, what has it got you relishing in it? Milking it is what the word is.
Yeah, there's plenty of
Milking
comments.
it.
People just say
I
it as a
know.
joke.
And it's making you worse, Brian. It's making you worse. Because I
yeah.
tell you what, if I look, you're looking down at my notes now,
I
aren't
can
you?
see him now. I never
Yeah.
normally get a chance. I'm normally over the other side, but Liz has got the chocolate over there.
Number two, we've got our Whittaker's chocolate today, by the way, because it's nearly Christmas and we thought, just bring the
Yeah.
chocolate to the show. Number two thing that we didn't expect. Well, we live in a little village. We live just outside a little village called Uakura. And we've got a Foursquare down there, haven't we, Brian? And it's a brilliant Foursquare. Actually, we better just say what a Foursquare is for people who don't know.
Yeah, for those of you, it's a bit like not glorified, but a 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
bigger. So it's a convenience store, but it's not open, those sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing with this Foursquare, though, Liz.
Yeah, we're being positive, aren't we,
It
Brian?
has gone down the pan a little bit.
No, no, Brian. So remember?
All right, okay.
Remember?
All right.
We're keeping this really positive.
Yeah, there you go.
Hasn't gone down the fan, has it,
Yeah.
Brian?
Or it's
No, no.
like a spa if you're in the UK or Europe. Anyway.
Do you see why I don't let him talk?
Convenience store. That's what you have to say.
Yeah, like a spa.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great little Foursquare. I'll tell you, let me put my hand up now in case you're thinking, what does he mean when he says, Brian is just annoyed because it closes at 7 o'clock and we're always running late.
Convenience store.
I know.
What?
I know. I wish it was open till 10.
It used to be 7 till 8.
I know.
didn't it? And in the winter, they might have put it till 7 because it's dark and don't have any lights in the cars in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So you can't go out after 7 o'clock.
But yeah, so anyway, it's a great little Foursquare, absolutely brilliant. Staff who work down there are fantastic.
Yes.
And they deserve to be finished at 7 o'clock to get home early to their family. Anyway, down there the other night, and we were like, when you just can't be bothered cooking anything for your dinner, I mean, should we just have something easy? Let's just have cheese and crackers and a bit of, what else? Salami.
Yeah,
we
just the
wanted
antipasta-y stuff.
We just wanted an easy night. So we had some cheese back at home in the fridge, and we said, we'll just go down to Foursquare and see what they've got. Just see if we can pick something up.
Yeah.
Couldn't be bothered to go into town to Countdown, could we?
No.
And we went down there, and there on the shelf, it was like that, what was that Christmas movie called where it's like all sparkling because it's so good? Like tling, 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 tling. I can't remember. It was like, the North Star, the Star of Jesus. When you see the films where the star is like bright and shiny.
Oh, right. It's like, all right. I see.
Well, that's what this was like with this little
like a wine.
pack of French brie. Wasn't it,
I know,
Brian?
yeah, there was like-
It was like
yes.
it come up. Go on.
Yes, go on. Carry
No,
on.
go on.
No, it's okay.
You
Yes,
buy, you buy.
That's all right. There was 3 of them. Three different types of French brie with a little French flag on it as well.
3 wise cheeses, wasn't there,
Yeah,
Brian?
it was. There you go.
There it was, sitting on the shelf in French writing. French brie.
Yeah.
Little box.
Le Francais.
Yeah, Le Francais cheese. And it was like little French flag. And those like really nice cheeses where they come in like wooden boxes.
Yeah, it's like like made of wafer wood, whatever you would call that. Like veneer.
It's going to be
like, this
expensive
is
and
gonna
good.
Be nice.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that expensive. Well, it was like $10, which is quite expensive. But
Yeah.
we just thought, this is our dinner. We can't believe it. There's real French cheese sitting in Foursquare next to the Watties. We're going to have it.
Yeah.
So we took it up to the counter, and the woman even said, "Oh, this has only just come in. This is from France," she said, didn't she, Brian?
French cheese.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, yeah. But you're just like, okay. But that's a great thing is the interact, and it's just like, she said, I tried the French, the blue one. It was really nice, but I haven't tried this one yet.
It was the talk of Foursquare. I'm not joking. It was like, we have got French cheese.
Yeah, and she not only that, she said it's really, really good because it's got a 12-month long shelf life.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's not going to be in there next year.
And that's why I kind of looked over at you and I thought, oh, that doesn't sound good.
Well,
you're not selling it for me now. Yeah. But anyway.
So we got it home. We get all our old bits and scraggy bits out the fridge, like it is. I'll just get all that out and we'll put it on a plate.
The cheese shelf, whatever that does.
Yeah,
Why is the cheese shelf different than any other shelf?
And in there, we had a pack of Whitestone feta. So Whitestone is a place down in the South Island, isn't it? That does...
Yes. Yeah, was it? Is it Oamaru?
I don't know.
Something
I can't
like that,
remember.
is it Oamaru?
But they do all this cheese in New Zealand. And we started having this conversation and we were like, okay, we've got our French cheese. And you know that France is just... It's known for cheese, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like if you say...
Well, it's the home of brie. At the end of the day, that's where it is invented, isn't it? Or it came about.
So here's the thing that we said, wow, I didn't expect that. So we had our knife and we were cutting bits of the cheese off and we were cutting our Whitestone feta off.
Yeah.
And then we were cutting the brie. And I'm not joking, that brie, what did it taste like?
It tasted like, well...
Dairy Lee
or Laughing Cow. It just tasted like a processed cheese.
It was horrible.
The first mouthful, it's creamy, but then you go, what is that flavour?
Yeah.
And it's Dairy Lee or, again, Laughing Cow. Like, you get the little, triangular tinfoil and open it up, but it was no different.
No.
It tasted like processed cheese.
And we were like, I can't believe we've just spent $10 on this.
Yeah.
Flipping wooden box. I don't care if you've got a wooden box.
Yeah, and there wasn't a smithering of mould or anything on it, was there? What was it? What
do you mean?
I know, because what was in the cheese? What was keeping it for 12 months in a wooden box?
Yeah.
Fresh.
Proper French thing, made in France, French flag, everything. Yeah. Now, this is not a go at the French people, and this is not a go at the France. But this is a thing to say. New Zealand cheese, that Whitestone cheese, it was just divine, wasn't it? It was so flavourful.
It's great. I every time I go into either Countdown or New World, I always head for the Whitestone cheese because it's but not that we're sponsored by Whitestone cheese.
What's
but if
that
you
other
want
cheese?
to, you can give us a call. Brian, it's a drama.
What's that other cheese as well that New Zealand make, Bri, that we really like? That blue one that we really like.
No,
no, it is. Is it Carpety?
No, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
This just Carpety. All the ones, some great cheases.
Yeah,
just amazing cheeses.
You've been put on the spot now, haven't you?
No.
Name another cheese, Bri.
There you go. I haven't got a clue. I can never pronounce it. It's like that Puiha farm or something like that. Whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the thing. We were just sitting there, we were like, do you know what? You can flip in all you people that are going, yeah, France leads the way in cheese. Well, you didn't last Wednesday night, I can tell you that. New Zealand leads the way in cheese.
It does, for sure.
And actually, do you know what? Someone said on the comments, ages ago, we talked about cheese, and someone said that if you go to Harrods in England,
Yes.
like New Zealand cheese, Bri, it's right up there.
It's got its own section, has it?
No, it has.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that leads on to something we're going to talk about later on in the show, that you just couldn't imagine it. Like, I don't know why you couldn't imagine it, but it's just like, you just always think like, France or...
But it's that perception, isn't it? Like you say, you tend to think French, like French wine. It's like, and it's not, I don't be funny, when you've had like New Zealand or Australian wines, it's hard to go back to French wines.
Yeah.
They are very classic sort of tastes and stuff and everything. And you know what you're gonna get, like, Chateauneuf de Pape. It's a lovely wine. Like,
do you remember when we were with that woman that time, Brian, on the cruise? We went on a cruise for Brian's 40th. We went to Norway. Yeah. And we were sitting next to a woman on a table, wasn't she? And do you remember she wouldn't drink anything, was it Californian or Australian?
Californian, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Why? Why was that, do you reckon?
It's a bit like...
What was she saying? Why didn't she drink it?
I don't know. It just makes her go hot and
really?
blush and stuff, like, Yeah, so what's in the red wine?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Anyway, so that was number 2. That was about our cheese, so...
Yeah, I know what cheese you were going to say, and it's not New Zealand. That's why I kind of stopped you.
Oh, why? What was it?
Castello.
It wasn't.
Was it not?
No.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Where's from Castello from? I like Costello, but that's not the one I was thinking of.
It's just an international company.
Oh,
It
right.
was started by an American, actually.
No, I was thinking of the one, the Carpety, isn't it?
I think it's
that's
Carpety.
the one.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, number 3 thing that you wouldn't expect. And I'll tell you what, this shocked me, this, Bri, because I'd expect better from New Zealand.
Better
I really
behaviour.
would. I would expect better behaviour.
Yeah.
And this is one for the young uns in the audience. This
Yeah.
is to show that we're inclusive. We're not just old farts who talk about old fart stuff. Went to the theatre the other night, the little theatre down the town.
yeah.
We love, absolutely love. We've talked about them lots of times before.
It was the fight before Christmas.
Yeah, we went to see the Christmas show, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we always do.
Yeah. And the little theatre, again, sorry if we've already said this, but it's in 2 tiers. So you've got the bottom section and then it steps up and then you've got like a row of tables and chairs and then another tier.
Just tiers, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's really, really intimate, isn't it? It's just like very, just smells all musty and just like
Oldie worldy.
they serve tea and biscuits in the half time and just, it's very, very old fashioned. But in a nice way, like, that's not in a horrible way to say that. It's just in a nice way. Anyway, I just don't understand this because the show started and there's a woman sitting down just underneath us, Bri.
Yeah.
And she must have been, what, I don't know, old enough to know better, like 65 or 70.
Similar age to me, maybe?
Yeah,
Bit
say
older, maybe?
say you're
Who
in her
knows?
60s, let's say. And the show started and all the actors there doing the stuff and everyone's really quiet. Anyway, bring, bring, phone starts ringing, bring, bring. And you're like, oh, everyone goes like this. Oh, is that mine? Oh, no. She picks up her phone and she goes, hello? That's how loud she said it. That's how loud she said it.
You were closest to the front. I couldn't see this.
And what made me laugh was like, we were in the second tier, me and this other woman on a table. And rather than turn around and go, excuse me, shh, like that, like you think people would, we just went like this. Like this, giving them the look like, The woman just carried on having a conversation.
So rude,
she
isn't
said,
it?
I'm in the theatre at the moment, so I can't talk, but what is it? She said.
Get out.
And what made me laugh, the thing I didn't expect Kiwi woman, I'm sorry, you should know better.
Because it's just that respect, isn't
They're
it?
always going on about young'uns and saying, they're always on the phone.
Yeah, young jokers.
They've answered her phone in the middle of the theatre, Bri.
And not the same woman, but on the row that we were on, because we were sharing a table with 2 separate tables, and we had 2 seats on one and one on the other. Yeah, thanks. And the lady on my table, just as the halftime interval, the curtain goes up, and she's getting something on her phone, and it's like, so the bright light, it's not even dimmed down. It's just now all I can see is her face lit up because the lights have gone down, and then. The actors walk on and she gets the screen and then goes like that across the table to the other lady. And you're like, what are you doing? And the other woman just bashed it away as if, put your phone down. I don't need to see that.
Was it the same woman?
No, it's on my table that was on.
Right.
And it was just like, just put your phones down. It's not hard.
So here's the thing that we don't expect. Have I got chocolate in my mouth?
Yeah, it's all over.
Have I?
No.
Here's the thing that you don't expect. You don't expect, like, for one, you don't expect people to get their phone out in the theatre.
No.
That's really rude. But 2, you don't expect people not to say something. Because I reckon, this is what I was thinking, I reckon if we were in America or somewhere like that, somewhere where, you didn't mind saying, wouldn't you say, excuse me there, could you put your phone away? We're trying to, that's really rude.
But
That's what you'd say if you're American.
You would actually.
Wouldn't you, Bri?
Most Brits probably would. Do you think they would?
No, they'd be too scared. But
maybe not.
I didn't expect it of the Kiwis. I thought they would be the kind of people that said, put it away. But no one did. We just all sort of went, oh.
I know.
Like
And
this.
then you get wound up, don't you? Thinking, how rude.
And you think, why don't you just say, excuse me, can you put your phone away?
Hey, less of that.
Too scared though.
Or at least turn it, I don't know, Just don't turn it off.
I know. So that was our number 3 thing that we just thought, well, wasn't expecting that in the theatre.
Yeah, but you don't, do you?
We're eating Whittaker's chocolate, by the way. This is dark. You know that 70% dark. It's good for you, 70% chocolate, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, well, chocolate's, as long as,
Yeah, I know, but the darker it is, the better it is for you. The more you can eat.
More polyphenols.
Yeah, the more you can eat. So, right, what's number 4 on our list then? A woman on the phone in the theatre. Oh, yeah, okay. This is a serious one now. Get all serious now, Brian.
Okay.
No, this is a real shout out to a New Zealand company. And it's not so much that you wouldn't expect it. Actually, yeah, you would. Because the 2 companies I'm talking about are two huge companies, and one you would think would be bigger than the other. Anyway, that's enough guesswork. I'll get onto it.
Okay.
So, for regular listeners of this show, people might know that my mum has got cancer. And before she found out that she had cancer, she had booked a trip to Europe to go over and see my brother in England, and then go over to Rome for a holiday. And now she's having her treatment. She's having radiotherapy and chemotherapy. She said, do you know what, Lizzie? I'm just going to cancel the holiday and see how we go, and, rebook it for later on in the year.
Yeah.
So she'd booked from New Zealand to England. She'd booked through Flight Centre, which is an Aussie company, but they've got offices all around New Zealand.
Nationwide in New Zealand, yeah.
With Air New Zealand to fly to England and back. And those tickets cost $5,500. New Zealand, yeah. And then from England to Rome, she'd booked with British Airways a hop over and a hop back, and those tickets cost £300. Okay, so 600 New Zealand dollars. So she gets on the phone and she's like, dealing with Flight Centre and Air New Zealand. I'm not joking. A huge shout out to that company. They were just, I am so sorry. You don't need to deal with this. Leave this with us. They asked for one documentation, which was a letter from a doctor or whatever.
Yeah.
The money was, it's not going to come through for 18 weeks or whatever, but the money, he just said, the money will be with you. It's no problem whatsoever. You've got it. Okay, so huge stress off my mum now.
And I've found that with New Zealand have been an amazing company to deal with. But every time, obviously everyone's got their own story, but my personal dealings with them, when my mum passed, they gave me a bereavement flight, which I paid full price for, but then they refund half of it. I don't know whether they still do that now.
They do that now.
But that was, 7 or 8 years ago. And you just think an amazing company to deal with, to fly with. I remember flying with them last year, and they just made you feel so special.
Yeah.
They just do, so hats off to New Zealand.
Air New Zealand and Flight Centre as well.
I've dealt with Flight Centre, booked my flights to Europe last year with them. Great company to deal with, just easy as.
Now, British Airways, on the other hand, which is why we're including this in things you wouldn't expect, because I don't know about you, but when you think of airlines, British Airways is up there, isn't it?
It is. It's up there. New Zealand is small fry to most big, international companies.
It isn't actually, because they won.
Well, I know. They win year after year.
Yeah.
Best airline.
Yeah. But I know what you're saying. You're like, when you think of like,
they're small in the grand scale of things. They don't. It's
And British Airways, you'd be thinking, they'd be the first to be like, oh, don't worry. Well, I tell you what, they have put my mum through the absolute ringer when it comes to giving her a bloody £300 or £400 back or whatever it is. They want this, they want that. You're sending it in the wrong format. You're sending the wrong size. This is too big for our computer. Someone doesn't speak English. They keep getting my mum's name wrong. It's just
sending
like
the wrong
time
type of email.
after time, after time. And I said to Mum, do you know what, Mum? I'll give you the £300 back. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I said, just let them have it. But wouldn't you think, when you compare the two, like you'd be thinking, British Airways, it always used to be with British Airways, like going back 20 years or whatever, you couldn't afford to fly British Airways, could you? Because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And you'd be thinking, oh, Air New Zealand, little New Zealand down on under the other side of the world, and they're not going to, like that.
Yep.
Absolute fantastic.
Yep.
I just want that to be known, because it's like, flipping thank you, Air New Zealand.
No, it is.
But something you wouldn't expect.
No, it is. Again, Air New Zealand, I was flying out of Hong Kong last year, and just to see their plane, there's everyone else's planes are there, and then the Air New Zealand one comes down. It's all done in the All Blacks colour and everything with the big silver fern on it, and you're just like, I'm going home.
I know.
It's just the best.
It is.
It's a great feeling.
And we told you as well before, when we went to Europe last year, we were like, the staff who worked for Air New Zealand, like everyone else was really stingy with the wine. Do you remember? And they were like, we had to keep putting our hand up and saying, could we have another glass? And the Air New Zealand staff were like, I'll just fill this right up so that way I don't have to keep coming back. Do you remember?
She was gorgeous.
She was lovely. Yeah, big shout out. So there's another thing that we didn't expect that came up, and it was like, well, you think it would have been the other way around. So Right. So number 5, our last thing of things that we don't expect in New Zealand, and it came as a bit of a shock for us. This is when last week I was doing a podcast and interviewing someone for our NZAhead podcast. So that podcast is all about moving to New Zealand, and just like that's all it is about, is moving to New Zealand and living in New Zealand.
Emigrating to New Zealand.
Yeah, it's called NZAhead. Anyway, I was doing a podcast with a lady the other day, and I was asking her, like, well, why? Tell me about how it started, about how your journey, like, when you first wanted to come to New Zealand. And she said, in passing, she said something like, I mean, there's a saying in America that's like, when things get tough, oh, sod this, we're going to not sod this, but stuff this, we're moving to New Zealand, we're going to New Zealand. And we've heard a couple of people say that.
I never knew it was a saying over there.
No.
Because you tend to like think England or even South Africa or something like that. I know English speaking type countries, but it's like, I'm thinking of moving to New Zealand because it's the other side of the world. You can't get any further away from Europe than New Zealand. You really can't, can you? And to hear an American saying it, which, all right, they can look at it, they can't get much further away again because it's, it's a 12-hour flight, but, Europe's that 24-hour flight. But to hear Americans turning around, and I know you were talking about it because you did tell me about it. And I know it's a change of government. I don't know, what was it, 2018 or whenever it was. And a lot of people were just like, I don't like this. I want out of this. Stuff this. I'm moving to New Zealand. I think, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always thought that it was something that like individual people said, like, oh, let's just move to New Zealand.
Yeah.
And I said to her, so are you telling me that is an actual saying in America? And she said, yeah. She said, when things get tough, people will say, or she said, at least where I was from, in Washington or wherever she was from, let's go to New Zealand. She said, even the kids say it at school, like, oh, we're just going to New Zealand. And I was like, really? Like, she's like, yes. And I said, oh, wow. And she said, because New Zealand is the opposite of everything that they don't like, kind of thing,
Yeah, just that freedom-y feeling and all that sort of stuff. You mean like that?
Yeah. And now whether or not, obviously, again, we talk about all the pros and cons about moving to New Zealand. I'm not saying that New Zealand is this like, idyllic utopia, but it's interesting that they use the saying. That's what surprised us the most.
Yeah, she says you might not be thinking of moving to New Zealand, but that was the saying in the area that she's from.
And then when we were trying, didn't we? We said, where do we say, what countries do we use as a escapism sort of thing?
Yeah, well, as in Kiwis?
No, like obviously New Zealand is. No, we don't want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm going to say there's a lot of Kiwis think, stuff this, I'm going over the ditch and going over to Australia to make some better money or, different type of thing.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean, where did we used to say, when we lived in England and we wanted, like, I don't know.
The dream of moving somewhere else or doing something different.
What would we say?
Canada was the big one, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what you said, wasn't it? Was Canada was always...
Yeah, go to the wilderness in Canada and cabin up in a big cabin, Grizzly Adams type thing, just the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But you forget with Canada how cold and long the winters are like, so... Yeah.
I think talking from, like, our point of view, like this is our opinion, remember, just like, how we felt. But when we lived in England, bearing in mind we didn't know anything about New Zealand, I don't know if you won't know the story, but... we had our immigration papers in to move to Canada and we chose New Zealand in the end. But going back to like, from our perspective, it's like when things get busy in England, when things get stressy, when there's loads of traffic, when there's loads of aggression, when there's loads of stuff going on, that's what you always tend to say is, I tell you what, should we just go and live in Canada? Let's just go and get somewhere in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why you think you're going to be able to get somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Canada, but... And
Australia was always a huge one in the UK, wasn't it? Like, but just I'm off to Aussie just for that, warm weather. You move to Perth or you move to, the Gold Coast or something like that. It was just that, oh my God, I'm going to be outside having barbecues and eating shrimps on the barbecue. You know, when you look, I remember Paul Hogan did an advert for Australia, promoting Australia, you know, and he always used to be around the New Year time and he'd be like, oh, I'm going to put a shrimp on the barbie, and there's this huge crayfish, like, you know, and he just throws it on the barbecue. Like, that was like promoting Australia. You forget that countries do this, don't you?
I know.
You know?
Promote themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you look at New Zealand promoting themselves. You know, remember the meeting the guy from again, going back to the start of the show, Kiwi Men, the guy who was involved with This Is New Zealand, that video from the 1969, I think it was, World Trade Expo.
Yeah.
That type of thing, and you just think that's that promotion and making people move to the country to make it, you know, more profitable, more bigger, better, and everything, you know.
But when you live here, I don't know, you don't imagine that people in America are using our country as a, you know, like hanging it up there as an escapism. Yeah,
I'm going to move to New Zealand.
I know.
That's what Lord of the Rings did an awful lot for this country. You know, it brought it to America because not very Americans moved here before then.
If you were really stressed now, right? Say if you had like a really stressful time in New Zealand, and where would be your place that you would say, oh, do you know what, Liz? Let's just leave New Zealand and go to. Where would that be?
What now? It wasn't New Zealand.
Yeah.
Where would it be? I don't know. You tend to think of Asia just because it's cheap. But yeah.
That'd be hard because you didn't speak the language.
Yeah, I like Japan.
Yeah, but you can't afford Japan. Japan's expensive.
It's expensive, isn't it? You
Yeah.
know? Fiji's a bit small.
Do you know where I'd say?
Where?
Somewhere like Scotland.
Oh, you'd think going back to Europe?
No, so when things are say if things were stressy,
you just mean like a place in your mind that you think I could escape
like
to the
space.
Yeah, the Outer Hebrides and stuff like that.
Yeah, I imagine like, okay, like if everything turned to custard, you could go and live on the side of a loch.
A little island.
Yeah.
Up in the Highlands.
Yeah,
in Newcastle.
It's funny how you always, when you've got stress or whatever, you always think of you need the space and the isolation, isn't it? Yeah,
but you always think of the products of New Zealand, don't you? And so you think of, you know, rolling green fields and cows and farms and all that cleanness, like, you know, and that's what you tend to think. That's what you imagine anyway, like, you know.
Do you know what? We were out here the other night and I was just thinking, we were saying about this. Here you go. This can be number 6 because this wasn't expected. We didn't expect that after 14 and a half years, 2009 we moved here. We did not expect that after all those years, we would still stand on our deck and look out and go, can you believe that we live here?
I know. Yeah. No, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, your mum was saying that when she was driving back from Palmerston North here the other day. She said a summer's evening and you can see the mountain and it's just blue skies, and just think, she was just like,
when is it going to end?
When's it actually going to sink in?
Yeah.
You know, and just like, wow. Yeah.
You know,
lucky to be here.
We are. And it's just like you always say, look, you make your own luck, but it's just,
the harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah. But it's just that it's just that I don't think it's ever going to leave us. The fact that you just think, can you believe it?
You do. You have to pinch yourself.
We live in New Zealand.
I know.
You know?
It's just weird, isn't it? You just, yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed all those things that we didn't expect. Which was your favourite, Bri? Being put on the spot about it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, looking through them, I would go, yeah.
Can you remember what we talked about?
Number 7 is my favourite.
Was it? Thank you once again for being here with us throughout this year. You are what make this channel, like I've said this many times before, it's what you make this channel.
Make us do this.
Yeah.
Because this is like, we wouldn't just keep doing it, but you get so many nice comments and things. So, you know, thanks very much. Don't forget to hit the like button and help the channel out.
Right. Well, there you go. You're doing a bit of promotion, being a bit of a YouTube promotion
Not
person.
the down button, but the like button.
Do you know what? We were just talking, oh God, I better go in a minute anyway, so I'll just tell you this. But we were talking about the other day and we just said, you know, what should we talk about on YouTube? Like, you know, what should we say about? And we just said, every week we have these big, like, elaborate things that we're going to do. But every week we just think, I just want to tell them about that. You know, we just want to say about what's been going on.
Yeah.
No, look at that bird over there, Bri. He was just tapping the thing. Anyway, so We hope that wherever you are happy and you are safe. And like I say, we are so grateful that you choose to spend your time on YouTube listening to our channel and watching us. We're so very, very grateful to you. Thank you for making our New Zealand experience just the wonderful experience that it is, and for making this channel so lovely and friendly and just great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and whatever you're doing, the holiday periods are coming. So, whatever it is you do, celebrate at that time of year. Listen, have a fantastic holidays. Whatever's coming up. If you're in retail, you work and enjoy the work extra money. Whatever it is, just enjoy it. And, we look forward to seeing you in 2024. And kia kaha, stay strong. And kia u, stay true. And enjoy yourself.
Okay.
See you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Imagine this, you're living in New Zealand with your family, just going about your everyday life, and then one day someone knocks on the door and says, oh, by the way, you've won 15 million. What would you do?
Because she said, I'm sorry. She said, if you won however many million, she said, it wouldn't make you happy. If I won 15 million or whatever on the lottery now, of course I'm going to be...
In this week's episode, we're going to dive into the New Zealand Lotto and find out just what people do when they win that amount of money and how, if any, it changes their life.